The Kentucky Derby's here. Let's get started.
Trust the Profits is proud to be sponsored by Game of Silks. Go to silks.io to get in the game. Real ownership, real races, real rewards.
Sure bet coffee.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Pick 5 Player Show. I'm your host, Michael Pellerin, a.k.a. Horse Guy Mike. And today we're going to be talking about the late Pick 5 for Kentucky Derby Saturday. That's right. We finally made it. Prep season is over, and it's finally time for the Kentucky Derby. Big race there. We have a huge favorite in Fierceness. Am I picking him? Am I recommending him? We'll see. But the great thing about the Kentucky Derby card is there's a lot of graded stakes action going on, not only on Saturday with all the races there, but also on the Oaks undercard. We have a lot of great graded stakes races across both days. One of the top 3 weekends of the year, just overall for quality of talent. You always have Derby weekend, Belmont weekend, and then Breeders' Cup weekend. Probably the 3 best weekends of just all graded stakes races at one track that you will find. So make sure to use promo code TTP to get 20% off of Sure Bet Coffee, our newest sponsor. Follow along with Silks Racing as well as we talk through this Kentucky Derby field. So let's go ahead and dive into this Pick 5 sequence, starting in race number 8. Let's go ahead and pull up leg 1, race number 8, the grade 2 Pat Day Mile, going 1 mile on the dirt for 3-year-olds and up. A lot of these horses, every single year, are these horses that are kind of trying the Derby trail, or maybe they get a late start. They don't really enter the gate. Maybe they're better at sprinters cutting back in distance. Usually we'd see something like that. A horse like Jack Christopher, who maybe he had an injury or late developing. But this year, there's only really 1 or 2 that are kind of those late developers. What I really love to see when I look at that Pat Day Mile is a horse who is a true-born sprinter who tried stretching out in those other races, didn't quite make it. Was really hoping to see Timberlake here. I thought Timberlake is a true sprint type who would have just excelled here. Didn't happen. We've got a field of 12 horses. I've got 3 horses here that I'm going to be going over. First horse here is number 7 horse, Houday, Brian Hernandez Jr. with Thomas Drury. This horse coming out of the Lafayette Stakes got second there by 3 lengths at Keeneland. I'm kind of forgiving that loss. First race back, a first race back off of the layoff. Had not raced previous to that since Churchill Downs last November, where he did win on this track going 1 mile. So having that experience, winning at a mile at Churchill is really, really important. And having that first off of the layoff to go straight to a stakes race, listed stakes race at Keeneland, able to get up for second. I liked that performance. Getting a jockey change, so maybe Brian Hernandez Jr. can change it up a little bit. But 10-1 on this horse for a potential approving second off is one I want to be taking a chance off. Has never been on Lasix, so no problem there. Some of these horses are going to be first time off Lasix or second time off Lasix, so you don't really know how you're going to get with them. But this horse, Lasix free, coming back to Churchill where he's already won, second off layoff, eligible to approve. Love his chances there. Houday. Next one, going to be going right to his outside, the number 8 horse, Top Connor. This horse has raced twice. Once had a really impressive maiden win at Gulfstream Park, going a mile there. Stretched out in distance in the bluegrass. Just didn't perform, got 6, well beaten. But to go from a maiden straight to a graded stakes Derby prep is kind of a huge jump, going a mile and 1/8. So here we see cutting back in distance, going against winners for the second time. 5-2 is a little bit short on this. I don't understand how this horse is the favorite. I think it's because it was $1 million purchase. There's a lot of expectations around this horse. Usually I would go against it, but there was only 3 real horses in here that I loved or I even liked. The rest of the field I don't have any interest in. So Top Connor, I'm interested to see if the cutback's gonna help him out here. But I'll go ahead and roll with Top Connor as my second choice. And then moving all the way to the outside, my top choice here is Nash. 3-1, Brad Cox, Florent Giroux. This horse is coming off of an impressive 5-length victory in the Hot Springs at Oaklawn, going a mile there. I like that this horse kind of figured out that it was a sprinter before this. So ran in the Gunrunner last year, ran in the Lecomte at Fairgrounds earlier this year, realized the Derby Trail just wasn't for him. Cut back, ran an allowance race, and then went to a mile race next up, kind of as using this Pat Day mile as the target all along. And I love that. So Nash, I think, is my top choice here. If I was to be singling, Nash would be the one. I think Nash would probably go off his favorite over Top Connor if I had to guess. But these are the three that I'm going to be choosing. None of the long shots really interested me. Beeline at 10-1 is interesting, potentially. Vallejos, who's coming off of one maiden win at Santa Anita with a really impressive Beyer, 98 Beyer, won by 4 lengths. That's impressive, but a maiden straight into a grade 2 on Derby Day, it's just too much, too quick. So those are two that I maybe include, but I think I like the three that I've got here, the 7, the 8, and the 12. Moving on to leg number 2, race 9, the grade 2 American Turf, going a mile and 16th for 3-year-olds. A lot of these horses, again, horses that maybe tried the Derby Trail. They started their career on turf, maybe switched to the dirt to get on that Derby Trail, realized they didn't fit that mold, getting back to the turf, getting back to what they like. I would love to see a horse that fits that mold. Like last year, we had Webslinger, who raced on the turf a lot. I don't see any horses here who, maybe Lagnos, who tried a Derby Trail, like did one or two preps and is getting back to where they were successful at. Let's go ahead and look at the number 5 horse first, Legend of Time. Your likely favorite, Charles Appleby, Frankie Dettori, the pure international runner, ran in Great Britain, went over to Meydan and the UAE right over there, has had extreme success, 3 wins in Meydan, 1 win of 2 starts over in England. This horse is going to be your favorite for good reason. It's just a question of, will his experience overseas and shipping over from Meydan to Churchill have any effect there? Charles Appleby is a $2.23 ROI for first time North American starters. Really impressive. So you got to include him there. Moving to his outside, the number 6 horse, Neat, for with Raylo Gutierrez on there. Had a nice win in the Transylvania. And this is a horse that knows it likes turf. Has only raced off of turf 1 time in its career, so has 6 starts on turf. Very much experience there. Only 2 starts this year. Ran in January, had a little bit of a layoff, came back in Keeneland in that Transylvania, won by a nose. So I like that off of what I would call like a little bit of a layoff, to come back and win in a gritty fashion over another horse that I like here, and that's the number 11 horse, Cugino for Sugar McGahee, Javier Castellano. Cugino finished back-to-back second place, 1 by a nose, 1 by a neck, just kind of having a tough time of it. I like his chances here, 10-1, good odds. Last time out, he was 5-1. Before that, he was 5-2. So getting better odds on him here. Maybe he could turn the tide. I think there's a lot of speed in this race. So if we're looking at the Brisnet styles of these horses, let's take a look there. Neat is an EP5. Cugino is an EP5. Legend of Time, who's international, will not have one. And then my last horse here, number 10 horse, Set, is also an EP. So we have a lot of horses who are going to be running on the front end. I think Legend of Time is probably going to be coming from behind. So look to see maybe a fast pace. There's going to be a lot of traffic here. We've got a full field with 3 also eligible, so expect 14 horses to be running here. Post position is going to be important. I want a little bit of an outside draw so we're not pinned in. That's why I like Set. Set's also coming off of 2 impressive wins. I mean, back-to-back wins at Gulfstream, going 7.5 furlongs there. I think the reason it's 10-1 and not the even money favorite is because stretching out in distance, going a couple furlongs more than he's ever done. Mark Casse, Jose Ortiz, Oscar Performance. Set's got everything you want from a turf pedigree and turf performance there. Just the stretch out in distance is going to be a little bit concerning. So we'll see how Set can perform. Those are the 4 I'm going to be going with. Legend of Time for the internationals. Neat, Set and Cugino, rounding off my superfecta there. So 4 horses deep in leg 2. Moving on to leg 3, race 10, grade 1, Churchill Downs, going 7 furlongs for 4-year-olds and up. Kind of a sprint race here. Last year we had a horse, little-known horse named Cody's Wish, win this race coming off of a layoff in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. I'm choosing a horse that's going the exact same route, and that's number 6 horse, Zozos. I've been on this horse for a while now, ever since his Kentucky Derby run. 3-1 on Zozos favoritism. The layoff would be a little bit concerning if I hadn't seen Cody's Wish do the same thing last year in this spot. Not saying Zozos is as good as Cody's Wish, but I like that this was kind of the target at a debut spot. Brad Cox is feeling pretty confident in Zozos. He was racing against the best of the best last year in that Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Had some other graded 6 performances there. So looks for his 5-year-old debut here in a grade 1 on Kentucky Derby weekend. I love the confidence. I love Brad Cox's attitude here. I'm going to be going with Zozos. He's been working really well. Just fired off a 59-second workout, 5 furlong workout. So doing great there. The other one I want to include is the number 3 horse, Beau Cruz, at 10-1. Horse is coming off of a victory at Keeneland in the Commonwealth Stakes, going 7 furlongs there. So nice 7 furlong win in Kentucky in April. 1 month later, in peak form, got a 96 Beyer that day, won by 2.5 lengths. Nice, impressive win. And I was surprised by the 10-1 morning line on him. People are liking other horses like Hoist the Gold and Tejano Twist more than this horse. I don't like either of those horses. I think Tejano Twist, overrated, has 1 win in his last, or 2 wins in his last, 8 starts. I don't think that horse has any shot here. So I'd much rather go with a higher price. Beau Cruz coming off of a win in the state. Speed figures there. I like the chances there. And Hoist the Gold was running in this race last year. Was okay. Had a really nice speed figure in the Cigar Mile. 109 speed figure that day. Got an 88 this year at the Pegasus World Cup. But went over to the Saudi Cup, now coming back. I don't like that shipping over, going from America over to Saudi Arabia and then coming back. The horses who do that don't typically perform well off of that immediate layoff and that long trip. So Hoist the Gold is a complete draw the line through this for this race. Maybe next race will be the choice, but feel confident here going 2 deep with Beau Cruz and Zozos. Moving on to leg 4, race number 11, the Grade 1 Turf Classic, going 1 1/8 on the turf for 4-year-olds and up. I kind of like singling in this race, but I'm spreading just because I am, spoiler alert, singling in the last race. And I'm going to be going with Naval Power as kind of the obvious choice here. 7-2 favoritism on Naval Power. This horse is great. Got 2nd place last out in the Maker's Mark Mile at Keeneland with the 104 Beyer figure, finishing just behind Master of the Seas, who is incredible. Master of the Seas is probably one of the best turf horses in the world right now. This horse got 2nd, well beaten, 2 lengths, but still, if Master of the Seas was here, easy favorite. Naval Power, 2nd place, 104 Beyer. That was his first race in America after racing in Medan in Great Britain. So you would think 2nd race in America, in form off of that layoff, or off of that trip at Keeneland, should be primed for a nice race here. The other horse I like, just in general, is the number 6 horse, I'm Very Busy. And I know taking 2 of the top 3 choices isn't a hot take, but I'm Very Busy coming off of back-to-back 100-plus Beyers, 100 Beyer in the Pegasus World Cup and Invitational, and a 103 Beyer at Fairgrounds, where he had a nice 3-length victory in that race. So a win, a second place, a win. This horse is in very good form right now. Chad Brown, Irad Ortiz. Just nothing bad you could say about this horse and where he's at. The one horse I am kind of fading is Program Trading, 9-2. I have no interest in this horse at all. As first race as a 4-year-old coming off of a long layoff. I know earlier I talked about Zozos coming off of a long layoff into this race. This is a completely different field. You're facing much better horses here. And this horse has not faced olders. So first time facing olders in a Grade 1 against some of the best turf horses in the country. Completely fading Program Trading. Don't understand that morning line at all. The one horse I do like, just from a pace perspective, is the number 8 horse, Never Surprised. This horse is 10-1. It looks to be the only horse who's going to go. Every other horse in this race is either an S or a P. There's one other EP horse in this race, but look to be Never Surprised, the only E horse. Everyone else is just going to be waiting. They're probably going to go 25, 49 up front. Never Surprised can be loaded and just pulled away from them when they go around that turn if he's on the lead and everyone else is kind of just waiting for their turn to hit the gas. So could see Never Surprised going gate to wire for Pletcher there. So I'm going to be including him, but I think I'm Very Busy and Naval Power kind of stand head and shoulders above the rest. So going 3 deep here, including Never Surprised just from a pace perspective. And here we go. What we've all been waiting for, the 150th Kentucky Derby, field of 20 horses, 3-year-olds going 1.25 miles. Favoritism on the number 17 horse, Fierceness. And spoiler alert, I am singling Fierceness. I love the post position draw. I know people have said the curse of the post 17. It's never won this race before. There really hasn't been a lot of great horses to break from post 17. But even the few, we're running with an entirely different gate now. They changed this gate a few years ago. There's not a big gap. They're not starting from as far out. Just a number of factors that went into why 17 hasn't won. I don't think that's going to be a big deal here. I think Fierceness is drawn outside of the other speed horses. He's going to be able to sit off in that second kind of rung. So you have the top 3 horses, maybe Dornoch, Just Steel, maybe TO Password, Catalytic, just a touch. And just sit like 6th, maybe 5th or 6th place as they go around the first turn. If he could stay 3 wide, stay out of traffic, when they hit that turn for home, he's going to make his move around the outside like he always does. As long as he can avoid being 5 or 6 wide, I think he wins easily. The only thing I can see happening is if he breaks too fast, he's in there at 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, they're going to be a blazing pace. There are so many fast horses in this race that want to be near the lead. If we go ahead and look at the stylings, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of the 20 horses are E or EP style. So at least 12 of the 20 want to be close to the lead. Now, 2 of the major contenders for Fierceness are going to be Sierra Leone and Catching Freedom, who are deep closers. They're drawn to the inside, so their hope is that they're going to be able to either sit the rail and cut to the inside like Rich Strike did, or break slow, swing to the outside and avoid trouble, similar to what like Mage did last year. That's going to be their style. We'll see. I would have liked Catching Freedom to have drawn outside. Catching Freedom would have been my choice. If he had drawn like the 16 or anywhere on the outside, he would have been my choice here over Fierceness. I don't like the inside draw for him. I don't think it's going to be too much of a negative, but I just think Fierceness drew so well. Catching Freedom had a little bit of a knock there that Fierceness just gets elevated for me. And that 110 buyer is just hard to get past. If he had drawn inside or in between some of the pace horses, it'd be a different story. But every trend, everything that I've seen just has me going with Fierceness. So whatever you want to do, if you want to go with Forever Young, who I think drew well, who's also going to be another one who wants to be forwardly or mid-forwardly placed, even though he's not a pure EP. So add him to the mix. That's 13 of the 20 who want to be close to the front or close to the mid-front. Forever Young, 10-1. He'll probably go off shorter than Catching Freedom, I would imagine. Sierra Leone seems like the obvious second choice. I think you'll probably get better than 3-1 on him. But Fierceness is going to be my single here in the pick 5 sequence. I might play Catching Freedom to win on its own win ticket, and definitely keying Sierra Leone in on all my superfectas. I think Sierra Leone is the most likely horse to finish top 4 out of anyone. I think Fierceness either finishes first or he finishes well beaten, similar to what he did in the Champagne. So that's where I'm at, singling Fierceness and hoping we get some good action there. So let's take a look at my ticket. Pretty light, going 7, 8, 12 in race 8, 5, 6, 10, 11 in race 9. Race 10, we're going 3, 6. Race 11, we're going 6, 8, 11. Race 12, we're singling 17, Fierceness, for a total of $36. All right. Well, that'll about do it. Good luck to everyone as they handicap the Kentucky Derby. Let me know in the comments who your most likely single is for the Kentucky Derby. If you think there's a more likely single earlier in the card, whether it's pick 4, pick 5, one of the earlier sequences, let me know who you think the Oaks winner is going to be. And make sure to go ahead, head over to Sherbet Coffee, use promo code TTP20, get 20% off that order. Make sure you subscribe, follow along on Twitter at Trust the Profits. I'm at Horse Guy Mike. May the juleps be with you, and good luck in the Kentucky Derby.